fever, allergies, and so those are the more common things. But adverse reactions are things we don't want. And so the big one, of course, is anaphylaxis, but hives are also sometimes shown up. Sometimes you have difficulty in breathing. One of the worst ones is Guillain-Barré syndrome. How many people have heard of that? So Guillain-Barré syndrome is the immunoglobulins start to attack the myelin sheath that actually covers the nerves and damages them, which leads to partial or temporary, sometimes long-term paralysis. But Guillain-Barré syndrome is associated with vaccines, so I'm telling you about it because I never want you to think that I'm only telling you the sunny side of the story. I want you to hear the whole side of the story. Right? But I will tell you that Guillain-Barré syndrome can be caused by lots of other things, not just vaccines. It just so happens to be tied to vaccines. Okay? And so therefore we have to be careful when we talk about these things. VAERS is the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, and this was created by the government and by a bunch of pharma companies because there were lots of people who were reporting adverse reactions and trying to sue companies. So this is what they came up with. And you send your information there, they decide whether or not you have a case. If you have a case, then they try to mediate some kind of
restitution.
Yeah, restitution with the farmers. If they come up with something that the complainant doesn't like, the complainant can always take them to take them to trial. Yep.
Just to make sure, so I'm like whispering because of when she had this shingle reaction, is that an adverse?
No, because it's labeled under side effects on the actual. There's for every single medication, it comes with a specification sheet, right? Mm-hmm. And on that specification sheet, it tells you what's in it, and it also tells you what you can expect as a side effect, and it was on there as a side effect.
Okay. So basically, if it's not listed, then
it's an adverse reaction.
Okay,
right.
Got it.
Okay.
So something they've never seen before, but
or they have seen before, but they list it as an adverse reaction, and they do list those as an adverse reaction on that.
Okay.
So next time, Bree, I don't know if you get meds or not,
Mm-hmm.
but at some point when you go back and you get a med, you know how if you go to HEB, they're really good about it. They're like, oh, well, doc, do you want to get counseled on this medication? And you can say yay or nay. If you say yes, and they'll tell you, these are the things you should be looking for, and these are things how you take it, and all this other stuff, right? But you can also ask for the information sheet, what I call the cut sheet or the spec sheet, and they'll give it to you, because they just print it out and just give it to you. You can also do that at home on the web. All this stuff is online, so you can go and pick up any of this stuff that you want. That's how my wife found it when she was doing her research. She was shipping it, right? That sounds pretty interesting. Right? I think everybody should take vaccines. I'm a big proponent for vaccines. This is the only place I talk about vaccines. I don't talk about vaccines out there because I get a lot of criticism, right? But I think everybody should take them. To me, it's important that those individuals who can take vaccines because not only are you protected, but if enough of us take it, then the entire population is protected. There are people in the population who cannot take vaccines because they're allergic to some component of the vaccine, or because they're immunocompromised, or they're fighting cancer or something like that, and they can't take the vaccine. So we protect those individuals. That idea is called herd immunity, and we borrowed it from the ranchers who couldn't afford to vaccinate their entire herd, so they targeted about 80%. I like to see 90% of the population get vaccinated for something. It's not happening. Vaccinations are at their lowest rate right now. And I get it, like, I used to try to explain vaccines to people, but they wouldn't really, especially now, it's real political. And so my conservative friends will say things like, I know what's best for my family. And I don't want anybody, especially the government, telling me what I should do. I know exactly what I need to do. And by the last time I woke up, this was still America. So that's on the conservative side, my buddies over there. My liberal friends over here are like, I've done the research, and I will tell you that for diphtheria, there hasn't been a case of diphtheria in the United States in over 60 years. And I know that every 1 out of 100,000 individuals can have an anaphylactic reaction due to the diphtheria vaccine. I don't think little Johnny should be put under those types of circumstances. I decided not to give the vaccine. And then I'll try to say, but the reason we haven't had diphtheria in the United States for over 60 years is because we have vaccines. So you're not gonna ever win, Harlow. People have already made up their mind. It's better just to do your own thing, and if people ask questions, you try to answer them. I am not here to try to change people's minds about vaccines. It's on you. It's on you to decide whether or not you think it's relevant or not. I've given you all of the goods and the bads, right? I've told you that people get anaphylaxis 1 out of every 100,000. It's not a secret. Okay? Yes.
I mean, everybody has their own view of vaccines, but I just think, I just wanna know more of the study when newborns
Uh-huh.
getting, you know what I mean?
Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
So let me get there.
Oh, sorry.
So this is put out by the World Health Organization. It was published in the National Geographic. So you can see that with rubella, the German measles, that around 1969 we started giving the vaccine. It went away completely. Mumps, we started to give it around 1966. And well, we do have, because of the anti-vax movement, we do have some cases. Let's pick measles. So measles was out of control, and then about 1964, we gave the vaccine, and measles has been under control for a long time. It is again out of control, in my opinion. We have a lot of cases of measles in Texas. It's bad. Diphtheria was a really bad deal, and then in about 1948, we gave the vaccine. It's gone. It hasn't been here since 1948, but there are countries in the world, Russia, that have diphtheria. Right? And so it's pretty interesting. Our Korean friends, they like us so much that we share lots of information with them, and so they give us a lot of really good food, and we give them a lot of other stuff, right? And so well, South Korea, right? North Korea don't like us very much. I don't even think they like South Korea.
They don't.
They're right there. But polio, you can see, was a big problem. And then we gave the vaccine around 1955, and it's gone away, and it hasn't been in the United States since then. That's pretty good. So, this is a schedule, Bree, for kids. Now you can see, it would appear that, it's pretty aggressive, right? But the problem is the little kiddos can handle it just fine. What I will tell you, Bree, and anybody else who's got kiddos, if you think it's too aggressive, just back off a little bit, right? If you want to give a vaccine, maybe give one, and then maybe come back in 2 weeks and take another. But you don't have to give them all at once. But they'll try to give you them all at once, right? Just like, I got flu here, flu there, and okay, I got flu twice, give me COVID on top. You can't really OD unless, you're the Brito person and take 10 at one time. I don't know. I don't know what would happen there, but I just don't think you can OD on a vaccine. People are allergic to it. And once you have a reaction with the vaccine and you can't breathe or you develop hives, that's a warning. And that time it wasn't as bad, but the next time, because of IgG, right, and IgE, the next time you take it, it's going to be much faster and it's going to be a lot worse. So you should never take another vaccine if you have had a reaction to it.
Any vaccine?
I wouldn't take any vaccines because they're all kind of made the same way, right? A lot of especially the viral ones are all grown in egg. So a lot of time the people are allergic to the albumin in the egg, and therefore it's going to be in almost everything, which now is making me hungry because I'm thinking of eggs. So Nikki, you always have to be kind of responsible for yourself. I'm not a physician, but the advice I would give anybody, if you've had a reaction to a vaccine, you should be very careful about vaccines. They're biological. They are protein by nature. There will be an immunological response. to what you put in here. Okay? They do have the sublingual ones that you can do. And I did that for allergies, right? And my allergies are a lot worse, are a lot better now than they were. Can you turn that off for a minute?